Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you who have joined from Maharashtra and the rest of India for the third edition of MAHAMEET, an online masterclass with Outlook Responsible Tourism in partnership with the Directorate of Tourism, Government of Maharashtra. In this edition of MAHAMEET, we are delighted to have with us Eesha Singh and Harshvardhan Tanwar, co-founders of No Footprints. No Footprints was a gold winner as the best tour operator at the Indian Responsible Tourism Awards of 2020. They have won many more national and international awards subsequently, and their city walks across Mumbai, Delhi, and Jaipur attract ordinary people as well as celebrities who want to soak in the culture and vibe of an urban destination. They will share their insights on how to build stronger brands online with digital growth and storytelling on social media. Please write down your questions for Eesha and Harsh in the Q&A section that you see on your screens. Keep your questions brief, and we'll address some of them towards the end of the session. Welcome, Eesha and Harsh. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sonali. Outlook has been the most wonderful community to learn from. So this is such a wonderful opportunity for us to, if there's anything that you can share about our insights about our work, so this is truly a privilege. Harsh, do you want to add anything before we
No,
begin?
thank you so much. Namaskar to everyone. I'm so glad to be here talking about the city and the state that I love. I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, and for me, this is such a privilege to, be here and talk about, our story and our insight in my Karan Bhumi and my Janbhumi. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of this panel, and we look forward to actually, giving a little bit of what we have. This industry has given us so much, and Outlook has been such a great supporter. So it's such a wonderful thing for us to give back in a little way.
Thank you. Would it be okay if we conduct the presentation in English? Because we know that there are participants outside of Maharashtra as well. So English would be fine?
Yes, that would be fine with a little bit of Hindi.
Yes.
If you can, wherever possible, that would be
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you.
So meet the Smiths, everyone. You can see this very happy-go-lucky couple, and we'll talk a little bit about who they are. So ये हैं Smiths who are there in their 60s, retire हो गए हैं, and बहुत time से India trip was on their mind, and so they're finally deciding that this is the time they can do it. Kids have grown up, and they can do a big trip. One of the insights about doing an India trip is that people typically want to do a very big trip, right? So koi India aake, they don't necessarily just do Mumbai or Delhi or one particular city or state and they don't go back. They do a trip that's usually lasts about 2 weeks. So ab wo India aana chahte hain, they want to do their nice big relaxing trip. And what do we know about such tourists? So हमें क्या पता है that these tourists typically in our way that we've worked, we've realized that they are seeking comfort in every way possible. They want comfort in terms of access of conversations. They want comfort as they navigate the street, at their hotels, etc. They love personal and authentic interactions. They really enjoy that. They don't want to come for a history lecture. They are interested in stories. They want to meet local people. That's what they're interested in. And they may customize an itinerary as as however they want, right? Enters No Footprints, and clearly you can see that even though these two people are not smiling at all, the promise is that they are going to do some fun experiences. So and enters No Footprints, hum unke liye ek itinerary karte hain, and then we say bye to the Smiths and we wait for our 5-star review. Why are we so confident? Review wasn't the metric we were chasing, it was laughter. अगर कोई smile कर रहा है तो बहुत ही clear होगा that it's still vague that what that smile might mean. You might be smiling because you're awkward. You might be smiling because you're feeling a little domineered. You might be smiling out of politeness in an interaction. But laughter rarely means anything else. Laughter is the greatest validation for success. मतलब आपको पता ही है कि अगर आप खुल के हंस रहे हैं, then that means it's successful. And what we're chasing always in our tours is a lot of laughter. We're chasing a lot of fun, right? There were also, we also know that we offer personalized experience. Where is you in the information? So, for example, अगर हम मुंबई के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, हम चर्च गेट स्टेशन के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो चर्च गेट स्टेशन के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, विच इज जस्ट अ स्टैक ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट चर्च गेट स्टेशन। या फिर हम बात कर सकते हैं हमारी पहली ट्रेन जर्नी के बारे में। चर्च गेट स्टेशन मीन्स अ लॉट फॉर मी बिकॉज दैट्स द स्टेशन वेयर आई यूज्ड टू गेट ऑफ एंड गो टू जेवियर्स कॉलेज, राइट? तो उसके बारे में बात कर सकते हैं। सो वेयर इज द आई इन द स्टोरी? एंड सिमिलरली द सेम फॉर योर गेस्ट्स। अगर हम मुगल्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, इंडिया के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो क्या हम उनको थोड़ा आइडिया दे सकते हैं मुगल्स के बारे में बाय कंपेयरिंग मुगल्स टू से गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स, you know, making it fun, making it like easy accessible. Beyond content, you also want to check like what else can they very seamlessly sort of like, you know, care about, and like how can we personalize that as well. And then special and exclusive access to meaningful connections with people, you know, where we very early on realized that no, Footprints is successful because it will be successful because, you know, we are in the business of people meeting other people. And everything else is sort of like plays beautifully. India's heritage, India's, you know, burst of color plays beautifully as this, you know, important characters in people meeting other people. So that's always been our big drive. So, you know, whether it is to get people to make their own greeting card, you know, as a DIY souvenir, or whether it is doing some thumkas of Bollywood dance workshop. अगर मुंबई आए हैं तो Bollywood dance नहीं करा तो, you know, how is that even a Mumbai trip? The idea is to get them to meet more people and to interact with people over a really fun, equal footing. So ये attempt करते करते like we really understood that like what we're designing is a seriously fun experience, and in every time we're going to design something called a seriously fun experience, we're going to be doing something right. How do we know that? We get to hear the best things on the internet. तो हमारे कम से कम 99% reviews हैं which are 5 stars, and we've been on the platform for about like since 2017. Sometimes we get really lucky. So, you know, we've been covered by the New York Times, National Geographic, The Guardian, Congress Traveler. And ये तो मतलब अगर हम अभी टी शर्ट पहन के घूमे इस बात की, तो that, you know, we'd like to do that because I feel like अभी कंपनी के टी शर्ट बनने वाले, तो I feel like Tom Holland and Zendaya might be part of that t-shirt because I think like this is something we will probably never stop gloating about. So sometimes we get so lucky we can't even believe it. And then we get really cool speaking gig opportunities. So, you know, from like Arrival in Bangkok to Skift and their inaugural event in India to ITB in Berlin to Ministry of Tourism, people have found something interesting about our story and they've invited us to speak about it. And we also win awards. We feel a great privilege to have won the WTM, probably considered the highest honors in tourism. We won the WTM Global Award for one of our tours in Mumbai around the queer heritage, about like, you know, the community, the queer community. And preceding that, of course, we won the amazing Outlook Gold Award, which I think started the journey of it all, because I think wahi se thoda like the confidence got built to start applying at you know, other platforms as well. So, you know, like I said, huge privilege to be able to be doing this today. Then again, like we've won things like the best of the best, which is a huge recognition by TripAdvisor, Traveler's Choice Award. We've also won something called the Inclusion Award, you know, by AIWTE in the UK. And before I move on to the next section of the slides, I want to just understand like what did you think of the previous slides? Like what did you like? And I know that like everyone's on mute, so you can take chat as a way to write like quick one-word answers. If No Footprints had a voice, basis the previous slides that you saw, because those are our generic slides that like we're giving you to give you an introduction about our work a little bit. What did you feel? Like अगर No Footprints को एक आवाज दी जाए, like as a brand voice, like what voice will you give No Footprints? How about seriously fun, right? हमने सोचा कि हमारी यही brand voice होने वाली है. We're going to call it seriously fun. What does seriously fun mean? It means that we're going to be tackling the ideas of serious, sometimes conversations, important conversations, but in a really fun manner. We're not going to forget the holiday aspect of tourism. These are some of the principles of storytelling for a tourism brand on social media that we've identified. This is, as you can see, this is a snapshot of our page, Instagram, जिसपे हम सबसे ज़्यादा अपनी storytelling करते हैं. हमारी insights as a small business, जो कि I hopefully अगर small business से join किया है आज call पे तो उनको भी काफी resonate होगा, because small businesses don't have performance marketing budgets that of like massive big brands. So we've everything that we've done has been built organically, and it's been built entirely on storytelling. So and our success metrics look like reels clocking 1 million plus views. We have followers today who are culture commentators like Chef Hussain, Chef Thomas, Rochelle Pinto, who's the chief editor-in-chief for Vogue India, Rohan Joshi, Arjun Kapoor. What we really have is a wonderful team that really enjoys the internet. We don't have the budgets for performance marketing. Social media is one more thing on top of what we do, which must be true for so many small businesses like us. कि एक पूरा like division social media का बनाना बहुत ही मुश्किल है. We don't even know sometimes what the goals are. तो अब क्या करें? This is something that everybody has to do. We have to publish our material. And so often social media is always like one more thing on top of one of the things that we are doing. So these are hopefully some of the things that will help you. Define the purpose of your marketing, the big picture purpose first, and not the purpose, not कि like आपको followers बढ़ाने हैं या फिर आपको इतने views चाहिए. आपको पहले अपना big picture purpose clear करना होगा, because even when you are going to see success, let's say that you see success in like a lot of views on a reel, you don't know like how to feel about it, because you never defined like what exact purpose of this means. First of all, like I said, success looks different depending on your goals. So for example, like resort की बात करते हैं in Karjat, उन्होंने एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत reel बनाई about like monsoon in Karjat, and that reel gets them, let's say, 200,000 views for a page that has about 5,000 followers. तो उनके लिए बहुत ही like clearly like that reel went viral, but उनको bookings नहीं आए बिल्कुल भी. Now, depending on what the goal was for that organization, उससे फर्क पड़ता है कि like whether that 200,000 views matter or they don't matter. On the contrary, let's say the goal was defined as bookings and they did a reel about like their hotel specifically, something fun reel, और वो reel क्या है, सिर्फ 10,000 views. In which case, and they got like say 50 bookings. Then the 10,000 views reel is far more successful, even though social media is telling you otherwise. So your big picture goal is more important than even your like weekly targets, yearly targets, monthly targets, follower growth, shares, all of that. उसने घुसने के बजाय first you need to get this very, very clear. I also want to point out here and say कि your teams are going to be like witnessing metrics every day. So जो social media की team होती है, उनको like अगर उनकी रील बहुत अच्छी करती है या फिर उनका क्रिएटर बहुत अच्छा करता है, that also they get to see, but more likely than not, what they get to see is every day their hard work not doing well, at least initially when you start out on social media as a brand. So defining the purpose is very, very important, because, in every other team, you will see that feedback will go at least like a little bit like at least weekly, monthly or something like that. But in this particular team, like they will receive feedback every single day, and you can then decide like will that be motivating or demotivating for them, because the metrics are for everybody to see, and sometimes seeing so much metric and so much data can be quite demotivating for an organization. So continuing on the same thought, consistency over frenzy, we realized like, as a hard lesson reminder for ourselves also, we realized that the business owners were not people who were creators. Now social media has a whole ecosystem of people who are full-time creators, and you can't possibly, you have to set realistic goals for yourself, which means you will do like say 2 posts in a week, but you will commit to those 2 posts in a week, as opposed to like choosing to post every single day and completely burning out. Because every time you're going to see a post that's not doing well also, it's taking your time also, you've got one more thing on your plate. You don't know how to process, that kind of this feedback constant loop that I was telling you about. So the better idea is to actually say that like, this is my consistency, I can focus on this and I will do well. And the 67,000 followers story, the wonderful followers that we happen to have on the page today are result of us following a schedule that works for us today, which is that we want to post as much as we can. We repurpose content all the time. We, use footage from we've had before. We store a lot of data so that we're able to do other things in our schedule and not just social media, because that's not possible for us, that we just focus on social media. Analyze and pick your lessons and adapt. So avoid the burnout trap, but also analyze your lessons. I feel like analytics is very important in social media, not because the strategy that you've chosen is necessarily wrong, but just because the algorithm and the platform keeps changing. Like they want you to try new features, they want you to try something else is trending. So that you have to do. Like I think consistency over frenzy, stick to your consistency, but also make time blocks for analysis. That could be quarterly, that could be half yearly, but definitely spend time on analysis. Like I said earlier, our brand voice had become seriously fun. So this is not about just social media, not your Instagram voice, not your emailer voice, not sort of what your advertisements will say, but what is the brand voice? I am very, very certain that when a representative from No Footprints is talking to somebody, whether we are speaking via this presentation, whether we do our reels, our brand voice is very, very similar across the board. And then that becomes easier for you to be consistent across touch points. You don't want to sound something else on social media that you're not as a brand. So identify your brand voice, because it's going to make your job much easier to be consistent across the touch points. And a lot of that has to go with an internal culture drive as well. So as managers, as founders, how you welcome your team, what kind of things you set in, it's slow and important work, but across the touch points, it's important for your brand voice to be the same. Lastly, I think storytelling online isn't just fun photos. Everybody wants a point of view. One of the lessons that we've learned, and we're actually adapting to our storytelling ourselves, is that information again. And I think one of the best examples I can give you to illustrate my point about brand voice more is that जो हम सोशल मीडिया पे बोलते हैं, हम ऐसे ही हम गाइडिंग भी करते हैं. तो अगर मैं सोशल मीडिया टीम को बताऊंगी कि अच्छा एक बढ़िया से हुक के साथ शुरू करते हैं, दैट्स गोना ग्रैब अटेंशन, एंड देन लेट्स गेट इनटू डिटेलिंग विच साउंड वेरी पर्सनलाइज्ड. ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि तुम अपना ओपिनियन दे रहे हो किसी चीज के ऊपर. दैट इज एग्जैक्टली द एडवाइस दैट आई गिव टू somebody who's training to be a guide with us as well. That एक बहुत ही अच्छे हुक के साथ start करो talking about Jama Masjid, and talk about first what Jama Masjid potentially means to you in Delhi. Similarly, what say CST means to you. It's Harsh's most favorite monument in Mumbai. So somebody like him can go on talking about it. Bring yourself out and in that case, your communication then just becomes consistent across the board. Then finally, you should come to target setting. So जब आपका brand positioning decide हो गया है, which is for us, the brand positioning is one line. So ideally try to come to brand positioning with one line. So our brand positioning was, we are an immersive tourism brand, and recommendations we share on stories we tell reflect our expertise in the city. तो हम एक टूरिज्म ब्रांड है, और हमको अचीव करना है कि हम जो भी अपना स्टोरी टेलिंग करें अक्रॉस द बोर्ड शुड रिफ्लेक्ट आवर एक्सपर्टीज अबाउट दैट सिटी. Now, expertise can be done in various ways, and I'll break that down. But very important to draft that brand positioning and keep reviewing it. It's not like it's set in stone. You can review it every 3 months, and it might change depending on your goals. But it's very important for you to craft that brand positioning, like I said, for everybody to know that what are they working towards. Then very important to identify 2 to 3 themes. The digital marketing space is extremely cluttered today. So अगर आप as a brand, अगर मैं थोड़ा सा restaurants भी review करना शुरू कर दूं, अगर मैं पिज्जा के बारे में बात करना शुरू कर दूं in Mumbai, अगर मैं मुंबई के ऊपर करंटली जो ब्लॉग्स हैं, अगर मैं पॉप कल्चर स्टूडियोज भी जाना शुरू कर दूं, मैं हेरिटेज के बारे में भी बात करना शुरू कर दूं, मैं टूर्स भी सेल करना शुरू कर दूं, then it's going to be very confusing for a viewer to understand how to place us, because digital marketing is very, very cluttered, and there's enough people that they want to they know who they have to follow for what purpose. So that has to be defined. Like if a follower wants to follow you, then exactly why are they following you? That needs to be figured out. So in our case, we are very clear. Like I said, we're an immersive tourism brand. अगर आप किसी से पूछेंगे कि नो फुटप्रिंट्स क्या करता है, then they'll say कि हाँ वो शायद मुंबई में टूर्स, हमने सुना उनके बारे में, मुंबई में टूर्स सेल करते हैं. अच्छा, एनीबडी एल्स हु लास्ट नो फुटप्रिंट्स का आपने नाम सुना है से कि हाँ वो थोड़ा लाइक मिसल पाव टाइप, वड़ा पाव टाइप लाइक रील्स करते हैं. So we've decided that we're going to be in the space of community, heritage, storytelling about the city that makes us seem like experts in the city. And so वो हम कैसे करते हैं? We will either do that via recommendations, we will either do that via our tours, but all of these goals will meet the larger goal of making us seem like experts in the city. These are some of the core themes and content buckets that you could take a look at. So and very, very important to revisit these strategies in every 3 to 6 months. In our experience, they keep evolving. So definitely do that. Definitely adapt to what the platform demands. Content bucket should flow from your core themes. In our case, our core themes were these. We said our core theme to achieve that earlier brand positioning, like I mentioned, was help. We want to, be thought of as people who can help people about things around Mumbai. Now, help के अंदर क्या क्या आ सकता है? हमने सोचा कि local expertise recommendations आ सकते हैं कि हम आपको बताना चाहते हैं, हम आपको हेल्प करना चाहते हैं कि अगर आपको कोलाबा में जाना है, कुछ देखना है, तो we are the best people to help you out. Then another core theme that can come as expertise, we thought like we can sell our local tours, our important offerings. So that's where we decided that like local tours also brand positions us as expert in the city, because we're saying that this is a neighborhood we know so well. Why don't you buy our tour and we'll take you around this neighborhood? And lastly, Remind. Remind is unfortunately work in progress for us also. हम भी भूल जाते हैं इसके बारे में. But Remind is very important. Definitely blocking time on your page, on your calendar to figure out like just reminding your viewers who are engaging with your content कि आप कौन हैं, who is No Footprints in all these various reels and creatives, like you, your values, your impact. So those things could be very, very helpful. And this is an example of the Remind bucket. Like I was saying, we want to constantly have fun. We want to look like people who are having fun. And like it comes to us very easily because we are people who are having fun. Like I said, I think like वो जो brand voice है वो आपका अगर consistent रहेगा across touch points तो आप मस्ती ही करोगे. So this wasn't of course like a decided like template, but I wanted to show this because it's a really fun way to talk about our brand, because we feature Harsh all the time. He's amazing on our reels, and we wanted to wish our founder like happy birthday like in a very, very fun way, as opposed to doing something that would be informative, which is without any fun, which is not as a brand, that's something that we relate to. We want to add fun to everything. So एक example हो सकता था to talk about us in a way which is like wishing Harshvardhan, who's done blah 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 things and like whatever, but we chose this. I think like our founder knows his importance, but we want to have fun on our page, and this is going to make him smile wider and get people to know and see us like this. And I think it's again in business terms, how does that help you? It helps you to establish the brand culture in these ways as well. So like-minded people also want to join your company when they see posts like that. They assume things about a culture and they accordingly want to join you as a guide or join you as an employee. So those are ways that it can help. So this is a practical playbook for a creative. This is something that I and my team use very, very consistently. A few things here and there might change, but mostly this kind of remains pretty standard, which is that a great hook plus a body copy that reflects a personal POV is everything. So अगर हम कोलाबा वाले रील की बात करें तो उसमें हुक था, this is the ultimate कोलाबा itinerary, let's go, right? So मतलब ultimate बोलना, like anything जो आप एक हुक में बोल सकते हैं जो कि सिर्फ 3 सेकंड का है, पहले 3 सेकंड आपके रील के, अगर आप ऐसा कुछ बता सकते हैं, और सिर्फ रील ही नहीं, आप कोई भी क्रिएटिव की बात कर सकते हैं. अगर आपका कराउजल आप डाल रहे हैं, अगर आप एडिट्स नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आप पहला जो आपका कराउजल स्टैटिक पोस्ट है, अगर आप उसमें कुछ बहुत ही थॉट इवोकिंग बोल सकते हैं, अटेंशन ग्रैबिंग बोल सकते हैं, then please do that. Enough and enough data and studies are, surrounding us about like कि कितना कम होता जा रहा है attention span, और हम सब एक doom scrollers बन गए हैं जो we keep like scrolling stuff. So then you have to think first, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, you have to think first कि what is it that I can say in the first 3 seconds that will make a person stay on to what I'm saying, right? So that is number one. And then what will make them increase their watch time? So of course वो 3 सेकंड के लिए रुक गए, तुमने बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कुछ बोला, जैसे हमने बोला कि क्या आपने मुंबई में ऐसा कोई फूड टूर करा है जिसमें बड़ा पाव नहीं खाया जाता है, तो आपने बोल दिया ये, but then what will make people stay on? So then you need a body copy that will give your personal perspective. uh, if you again make it about just generic information जो कि उनको इंटरनेट से मिल सकता है, then they're just gonna scroll up, and you will get like what will be a very very little watch time, very few shares. So both the things matter equally. Clean shots with subtitles in the video. Subtitles I think help tremendously. Clean shots help a lot. Lots of happy faces. So अभी आपने जैसे videos देखे, I think it's important for people to see actual happy faces. They assume that they are customers, and that potentially makes them book a walk with you. Music for the much needed push. तो बहुत ऐसा हमने देखा है, जैसे अगर हम एक carousel डाल रहे हैं with music and one without music, या फिर we're adding a carousel with regular generic music and one carousel with very fitting music, जैसे हम कुछ vintage के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं और अगर हमने किशोर कुमार का गाना लगा दिया उसमें, that reel will definitely do better. Music always just relaxes us psychologically. I think it just benefits us too much to take a pause, enjoy it. And so music definitely gives that much needed push to all our creators. Quick transitions in our reels. This is a point from my editor. He couldn't join us for the presentation today, but he wanted to tell me that like I think quicker transitions in our case have benefited very well as opposed to much longer sort of cinematic frames. And typically not longer than 40 seconds. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि अगर आपको कुछ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बोलना है तो आप उसको क्रैम कर दो and you lose out on a very good story. But इसका मतलब ये जरूर है that like the platform definitely rewards shorter content. So 40 seconds is generally what you see as uh, you know the length for most successful creators as well. And so that so then we try to say, if we can say something in 20 words, and if we can say something in 40 words, we will choose to say something in 20 words. Yeah, I want to say that like मैंने स्क्रिप्ट के बारे में इसमें ज्यादा ज्यादा बात करी है because at No Footprints also we are blessed with a wonderful edit and shoot team, um, which is also the writing team. But what we've noticed as a big insight is that if your script is amazing, then chances are you viewers will forgive you for a bad edit. अगर थोड़ा एडिट का इधर उधर हो गया, so a lot of people are like thinking कि स्टूडियो से शुरू करते हैं, लाइटिंग अच्छी होनी चाहिए, ये अच्छा होना चाहिए, all that is okay. But in our experience, script is literally everything. अगर आपका स्क्रिप्ट बहुत अच्छा है और आपका थोड़े जारिंग शॉट्स हो गए, आपने कुछ स्टॉक फुटेज भी यूज कर लिया, अपने ब्लैंक स्क्रीन पे हमने टेक्स्ट डाल दिया, that also performs much better than like you can like literally get all the shooting equipment, beautiful things in the world, but for a brand like ours, if you don't have a good script, it will not perform. Okay, this is an exercise I wanted us to do. So think of a script you want to write introducing your tourism brand. Now I know that I don't know, Sonali, if we have the time for an exercise, but I think if you even if you guys want to do this exercise later after this meeting is over, I think it would be a great exercise for any of you who have joined this meeting for learning anything around script writing. I think this would be very helpful. So अगर आपको जैसे अपने टूरिज्म ब्रांड के बारे में कुछ रखना है, लेट्स कंसीडर लाइक अ रेस्टोरेंट or a hotel or a boutique hotel or a tour operator, a walking tour operator as well. Focus on the first crackling first line that will make it impossible for the viewer to not stop and watch. One of the tricks that I tell my team is कि ऐसे सोचो ही मत कि तुम्हारे पास सेकंड लाइन तुमको मिला है, भूल जाओगे तुमको सेकंड लाइन मिली है, थर्ड लाइन मिली है. डोंट ट्राई टू कॉम्पनसेट इन द सेकंड लाइन और थर्ड लाइन. द प्लेटफॉर्म डिमांड्स दैट यू क्रैक योर आइडिया इन द फर्स्ट लाइन. तो तुम पहले लाइन में ऐसा क्या बोल सकते हो? लेट्स से यू ओनली गॉट वन लाइन फॉर योर स्क्रिप्ट टू लैंड. तो एक लाइन में तुम ऐसा क्या बोलना चाहते हो that will make it impossible for a viewer to, move away. So I think about that. Then you have to capture what you're thinking about in 30 seconds. So don't over explain. जैसे for example, अगर काशुंदी के बारे में मुझे बात करनी है एज अ कॉन्डिमेंट, तो अगर मुझे बोलना है काशुंदी के बारे में कि अरे वो बंगाल से है, बंगाल का कॉन्डिमेंट है, और उतना टाइम नहीं है. फोकस ऑन द मेन प्लॉट. आप क्या बताना चाहते हैं इस स्टोरी के बारे में? काशुंदी किधर मिलती है मुंबई में? दुर्गा पूजा के बारे में अगर आप बात करना चाहते हैं, वो आने वाली है, उसके बारे में अगर आप कुछ काशुंदी की डिश के बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं, तो आप उस डिश के बारे में बात करिए एंड मूव ऑन. यू कैन क्रिएट another reel or another creative about Kashundi's history, but don't mix the two conversations. Close it not with a generic outro like follow us or something. ये हमारी भी गलती, हम बहुत करते हैं इसको. I think CTA सब लोग बहुत ignore करते हैं, which is called call to action in like social media terms, which is, at the end of the script you're always saying, follow us for more such content, follow us for more such content. You can actually make that more fun. That is an opportunity to get some serious engagement. So you can ask a question that is very, very relevant to the reel and ask people to comment about it, and you will realize that how much engagement can improve basis that. I'll just give you a quick example. This is from ChatGPT, and we'll come to ChatGPT, the main, I think, sort of like character in all our lives who are doing social media these days. So मैं उसके बारे में बात करूंगी in the next slide. But this is an example of what a script ChatGPT thinks will not perform, right? And I wholeheartedly agree. So जैसे अगर हमको मिसल पाव के बारे में बात करना है, तो hi everyone, thought I'd show you this restaurant I came across in Kolhapur. It's been here for a long time and people say it's quite popular. It will instantly fail. आप बहुत time ले रहे हैं to come across your point. You have to say this is the best misal in Kolhapur. This is the spiciest misal in Kolhapur. This misal in Kolhapur costs you ridiculously, like costs you $500, but it's worth it. Whatever you want to say, like start with superlatives, like grab their attention. Then your plot is, so basically misal pav is a spicy Maharashtrian dish with a curry made of sprouts topped with farsan, onion and lemon. It's eaten with bread. A lot of people from Maharashtra like it. It's very famous in Kolhapur. I'm just waiting for my order. It should be here. So much dragging. You'd much rather, I mean, if you've gotten the hook, then you get personal with it. You talk about, like in one of the reels that did very, very well, we got Harsh's opinions about the misal pav that he'd eaten and the new misal pav he was trying. So he said that मुझे पसंद तो सबसे ज्यादा लाडू सम्राट का मिसल पाव है, पर जो मैं मिसल पाव खा रहा हूँ, आई थिंक इट्स डेफिनेटली अ गुड क्लोज सेकंड. सो गेट योर पर्सनालिटी आउट, टॉक अबाउट द प्लॉट, डोंट ड्रैग इट विद दिस क्रेजी बिल्ड अप, राइट? एंड दैट सीटीए दैट लाइक नेवर अराइव्स, बिकॉज इतनी लंबी स्क्रिप्ट होगी तो कोई सीटीए देखने ही नहीं वाला है. सो hopefully this gives you an example of what will not do well. And like I said, for anybody who joined for any tips on script writing, I would say please do this exercise. I think, in my opinion, it will help you tremendously. And finally, AI. AI can help you a lot. I think जितना हम batch create अब AI की वजह से कर पाते हैं, वो पहले नहीं कर पाते थे. So I think significant amount of assistance in like script writing. You need to know your prompts well. I would have loved to share some prompts. और prompts actually आपके अपने ही personal होते हैं. जो मैं prompt यूज करती हूँ वो मेरी टीम की राइटर नहीं यूज करती है, vis-a-vis मेरी टीम का एडिटर नहीं यूज करता, बिकॉज most importantly prompts are as you develop your own relationship with AI. So for example, I will, if I'm writing for um, a foreign tourist, I will possibly say something about like a 14-year-old, write it for someone who's a 14-year-old who has no context about India, etc., etc. And so these things will keep changing depending on what your goal is for that particular creative and who your audience is. Also helps a lot with analysis. So मैंने देखा है that like routinely you can send your handle to AI and also ask like what is it that something could be, better, who are the competition. So I think AI helps a lot regarding regular analysis as well, and quick turnaround on graphics. So we do rely on Canva so much, like a lot of us, I'm sure, on the chat. But also I feel like if you want a quick turnaround on graphic where you just want to give a prompt, I think AI has helped so much with that. However, more than not, I am cautious about these things about AI. So one, usually AI content is very generic. तो आप ओवर रिलायंस उसमें नहीं डाल सकते हैं. इफ यू वांट टू डू लाइक द थिंग्स दैट आई मेंशनड, यू वांट टू ब्रिंग योर ओन पर्सनल पर्सपेक्टिव, देन एआई कंटेंट इज जेनेरिक एंड पता चलने लगा है, बिकॉज अब हर कोई एआई पे रिलाई कर रहा है. तो there are common words etc that you can just identify like that if you're a writer for social media कि वो AI पे बना है. And like I said, I think not just for other brands, आपके खुद के पोस्ट थोड़े formulaic लगने लगेंगे because AI will just not be able to show that kind of nuance. Similarly, fact checking. We're all in tourism and heritage. We're supposed to sound like experts. I think अगर हमको कभी fact checking पे comment आता है, then it hurts us more than any other trolling that happens on social media. So fact checking and editorial review is very much needed for AI, because AI will, till today, like AI is not going to be doing necessarily accurate information. And lastly, it struggles a lot with context. तो वो आपको एक बैच क्रिएट तो कर देगा, बट आई थिंक अगेन एडिटोरियली रिव्यू आपको करना पड़ेगा टू ऐड योर पर्सनैलिटी, ऐड योर नुआंस, ऐड योर ह्यूमर, योर sarcasm, which AI is not going to be able.
Thank you so much, Eesha. We have a few questions that have come in, and we have a lot that came in when people registered as well. Now, we unfortunately didn't get too many answers to your question on the brand voice. So I think we got one which said spreading happiness.
Okay, that is
So,
that's very aligned
actually,
with. Thank you so much, whoever's suggestion that was. It's very aligned to who we are. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So there are some, hang on, what did I do? There are some questions that I can see. I want to ask Eesha, how did you connect the inbound market with a small team and limited budget?
Inbound market is actually the platform that I have found more beneficial for me has been LinkedIn for inbound. Instagram is
Okay.
where we are connecting more with our local audience, and that's actually helping. The word of mouth is helping with inbound a lot. So
Okay.
so I think like because if a lot of reels reach a tremendous number of views, then it's also reaching foreign tour agents who are looking out for content for that specific city or for that specific destination. So then you will show up in their search. But I'll be honest, Instagram directly to target like a foreign audience is tough. So I have found LinkedIn far more beneficial to do that in terms of talking about our work and business and those kind of things.
Okay, I can see a few more questions coming up. Someone is asking, do you generate paid leads and on which platform?
We don't generate paid leads. I think like we don't, I think the entire budget for social media has just gone into hiring the team. And that's all that like the budget goes into. Sometimes, very rarely, for like a very small budget for a day, we will promote our local tour offerings. But everything that we've done is purely organic. 90%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the same line, someone asked, do you have a big team creating your social media content?
No, so like I said, that like we all double up as people who are doing other work as well. So which is why I wanted to tailor make this presentation, because I understand that most of us in the business are small business owners, and we have many other things and many other priorities, and sometimes social media can seem like one big headache because it's not social media anymore, it's marketing. And so I understand that it's growing importance, but we do have editors on the team. So that's we have a small team of editors, and everybody else sort of like writes and pitches in for stories and scripts, etc.
So someone had asked this, which I think is relevant because, you, Harsh, and your team are so busy running these walks, curating new tours. You're not now operating in 3 cities instead of, just Mumbai, which you were doing at the beginning. So how do you consistently generate story ideas, for social?
Batch create. The batch creating is very, very important because it's no longer even like generating ideas. You have to go shoot them, you have to edit them. There's a whole process. So we batch create a lot, and accordingly in our weekly outputs, we decide that like, okay, among other things, I'm going to be going for a shoot on. So it's considered, it's definitely work, but we considered it as a part of many other things to do and not like as a separate thing to do. I think somebody very wonderful, a friend of mine had told me, because I used to get very irritated about this marketing thing, and he was like, it's because you are not considering it work. You are considering it like and one additional thing to do on top of your work. When you, I think, just give it that kind of respect, and you say that like, okay, this is marketing, it's important for me. It's not social media marketing, it's not posting on Instagram, it's not posting on LinkedIn, it's marketing for my organization. Maybe you'll add some targets to it, you'll make some space for it. And that's what we found successful, that we make space for it, but there's a lot of planning that goes in.
Um, this is, I guess, as you said, everyone starts as a small business operator, right? So I think it's a relevant question. And where did it? Yes. As a small business, we have just started out. How big should be the team size with a limited budget?
I think start with interns and start yourself, because I think a lot of times I don't know how old you are, whoever's asked this question, but I think initially
Sangeeta Sharma is her name. Yeah.
Okay, Sangeeta. I actually, when I was starting out, I was like, oh, this is such a Gen Z platform, and I don't even want to do this. It's a young people thing, and this and that. So I would say start yourself. Um, for two things. One, so that like you also dabble in it a little bit more, and so that like next time when you hire, you know exactly what you want. Like I said, I think the burden on the team can be enormous when you don't perform. And then that is the one team जिसका like metrics रोज रोज दिखता रहता है. ये सिर्फ 400 views हुआ है, सिर्फ 500 views हुआ है, अच्छा ये तो perform ही नहीं करा, ये तो perform ही नहीं करा. And that kind of chatter is very demotivating. So if you're just starting out, little bit like decide like whatever your role is gonna be, like writer, planner, strategist, but get involved. So you're also nicer to yourself and to your team, because you'll need it.
True. Another question. Do you work with local people as guides on ground? What is the way to hiring or collaborating with locals? Any trusted approach that you can share?
I think
For
Harsh
both
should
of you,
answer this question.
Harshisha.
So yeah, I think Harsh should answer this question, because I think it's around. Harsh, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so we have a training program. We have a very, very well thought out guide training program where we, take locals, because we always believe that locals are the ones that know the city the best. And we take heritage enthusiasts, and in order for them to understand our brand philosophy and our voice, which is very, very critical, right? Even understanding sometimes our politics is very, very important. So to understand all of that and be part of the brand ethos, we train and our own guides, because we also have a wonderful research team at the back end that does some wonderful research for us. And we love the idea of enthusiasm. And what we see is not just communication, but also how enthusiastic and passionate they are about the city. So that's how we kind of choose who are our, tour leaders who lead our walks and our experiences.
And do you continue with these trainings periodically with your
That
guides?
is
Because
correct.
new things may
We
have come up in neighborhoods, etc.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we do on-ground and online training. For every training, we of course have sections that we can do online, and we leverage technology. But it's very important not just for the team, but also for the not just for the team that goes on ground, but also on the back end to know what's going on ground, because they have client facing roles in sense of in the operational front. So they have to be aware of it. So we do have periodic recce's, and we have an annual sort of a recce where we take our team out to understand, to familiarize them, and we also get industry experts to talk to them. So we get industry experts from whether they're historians, or whether they're even people from the industry who have some insights on inbound tourism or local tourism. We do bring them to speak to our team. So that's how we add an advantage to this training module.
Right.
We
Okay.
also
Now,
sorry, we
mine.
also teach them
Yeah.
mindsets and skills, behavioral skills, so that they
Right.
understand how the tourism business works.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, the first question that came in, and my colleague Sukanya just reminded me, it got lost somewhere. The first question that came in was, how can independent tour curators and guides promote themselves without the infrastructure and budgets of agencies.
And
Yeah.
I think the success story of a lot of creators is that I think the internet is the best space for um, just requiring a phone. Like I said that like uski zarurat hi nahi hai. Like our own edits have been something that like we were doing ourselves. Then we were using apps online, and now we finally have an editor because we're managing that amount of turnaround with like 3 pages. But you pretty much need like little bit of help, like learn some editing skills, and you need a phone, and you can just start. Create like wonderful scripts. I feel like the internet is unforgiving for sure when it comes to and has no patience for all kinds of content. But I will also say the internet is extremely rewarding for anyone with great content. Like they just don't care like आपके पास क्या infrastructure है, आप कहाँ से आए हैं, आप कौन सी city से हैं. You're a good content creator and they'll do well. There is a Blinkit delivery person who I'm following right now who is amazing on the internet, and they've gone viral, and they're going to be a celebrity, and they're now collaborating and making like brand deals happen for them. And that is such a great success story for someone who not doesn't require much to start. So if you're an individual, I think especially I feel like the advantage is that you don't have to hide behind like something like an organization voice. You're an individual. People like to connect with individuals more. So I think you have an advantage there. So please start.
That's wonderful advice, actually. Um, so someone here asks, where exactly do you get your best leads from? Instagram recommendations or word of mouth, Google or LinkedIn? You've mentioned LinkedIn, of course. Anywhere else that you get your leads from?
Our goals are different for different platforms. So Instagram is where we get all our leads, as in customer bookings for our weekend tours primarily. We also get a lot of brand related work where if we want to collaborate with potential brands for walks, etc., we get those kind of bookings from Instagram a lot as well, because those reels have a higher reach, like I said, than what LinkedIn efforts look like for us currently. So because of reels that have performed like say up to 1 million, they have reached like corporate offices also. They have reached like other heritage collaborators potentially in Mumbai. So I think brands, local brands and local people, Instagram, but inbound audience, foreign tourists, those leads would be LinkedIn.
Okay, there's a question from Dr. Nidhi Varma of Folk Experiences. She says, we are a bootstrapped company focusing on research and storytelling. Now that there's a dearth of team members, I think she means, how can we make things work? Can't hire and can't handle social media alone. What can be an initial good guide towards just making things run? This is, I guess, many businesses go through this at one time or the other.
Yeah, so I think same advice as my previous question, but let's say that like I was interested in social media, and I'm very lucky to now build a team where like they also enjoy social media. So I think one of the things is that if you don't enjoy social media, then bring someone who enjoys social media and who you sort of trust like that. So start with an intern. I think the good thing is the fact of the matter is that like young people are on social media a lot. Like college students already have pages. So sometimes when we're hiring for social media, we review those things like who has put in the effort to make their own page. So I think find someone like that, like who took the interest to be on social media, who like being around people. Like I think those are very important aspects when hiring for social media. Yeah, I think start there, but definitely get somebody who likes to do it. Like if the pain point for you right now feels like you want to outsource it, then definitely get someone who's not saying things like they are a writer. That's a little bit of a pitfall. Sorry to so many wonderful people from the Outlook team here, but what I'm trying to say is like a different writing is required for, say, like if you want to get into a platform like Instagram or YouTube, you want to get somebody who's obsessed with Instagram and YouTube. Like whether they were doing your job or not, they were going to be on YouTube and Instagram anyway. So I think look for someone like that.
No. We definitely, we've kind of reinvented ourselves.
Correct.
With a really young, vibrant team, you need young people who actually are very, very familiar with
Correct.
those
Absolutely.
platforms.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's another, I think this will be the second last question, and I'll keep the last one, which is kind of funny. Do you sell only city experiences, food walks, or whole in all India packages? I know you're in 3 cities, but do you like selling the food walks more than the heritage walks? I guess that's what we are trying to find out here.
Not really. Well, actually, but we do like to tap into our audience and sort of tailor to their needs. So, for example, we will do a Mumbai Zero walk, which is about like Mumbai's beginnings, and which is a pure heritage walk. But we will partner with a wonderful organization like Bombay Sweet Shop, because we do believe that like people want to connect over like chai and chit chat. So we do want to marry those two things. We think that's an insight that has come to us, that that's what people increasingly like to do. So I think those things we do add to fun heritage experiences. And yeah, I think going back to like our brand voice, we want to make everything fun. So as it is, the heritage walks are very fun. So to not to get me wrong, but I think sometimes you also want to add fun in the marketing angle also. I think when our tour leaders were so fantastic when they're leading the walk, I don't think anybody attending their walk is saying, कि, "अरे, I wish खाना होता इसमें, काशी food walk होता." That's not happening. But in the beginning, when you're selling something, we do want to give like fun add-ons or fun collab things that people do pick it up as well.
Okay, the last question and quick answer. Are you going international?
Harsh
Someone
should
had
take
to
it.
ask this.
Harsh should take it.
If I do go international, I think the amount of whites that I have, the amount of blacks that I have will not exist. I think three of these have itself just aged me so much. So I don't know about Isha. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
possibly not very soon. I think India itself has so much to offer, and I think we are just, and we always, we personally believe that we are still a country of potential, and we were just looking at some statistics in Paris, seeing approximately about 47 million tourists, and you're talking about one city, right? And we, of course, converse a lot about over tourism, and I think that's a great example. We focused on inbound because, I mean, that's where our strengths lie. But also, I think for an inbound tourist, I think, of course, India has its issues that we face every day, but we've been a potential country for way too many years. And I also remember the first time when we started this tour, Bombay was just a transit city, right? No one looked at it as a tourist destination at all. In fact, people were spending possibly one day and buggering off. And we are so glad now people are spending 3 days in a city of Bombay. So I feel that India itself, we have to do so much more for the country itself. I think international is, I don't know, some time away possibly, but never say never.
We would love for you to stay in India, grow, and of course, slowly take those footsteps outside India. But thank you, both of you. Isha,
Thank you.
Harsh, you've been great friends of Outlook, and what a wonderful webinar. I'm sure people found a lot of important content in the things that you said, important tips, and they'll use it. And we hope to see you again very, very soon.
thank you
Thank you
so much.
so much, both
Thank you
of
so much
you.
for having us, and thank you for everybody who
Thank
joined.
you.
Thank you so much.
And just for the viewers, we'll have this content out on YouTube. So keep a lookout for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
guys
both
for
of you.
bye bye.
Bye.